Okay, so I'm going to try to get in here close so you can see what's going on. I just have to put in that poly switch I was talking about. So this will just give, you can see how I wired this up. It's all standard. And I firmly believe in making really solid solder joints. So this is one side of that switch, which can go just like that. There we go. Got my hand in the way, I know. But Spielberg was busy. Now, the other side of the switch, gosh darn it, there. Now just bend that over. And we've got a nice mechanical joint. Very secure, right? So let's make that thing permanent. That joint anyway. We've got tubing on here because it's crossing over that other wire. There we go. And it'll shrink down by virtue of the heat from this little tool. Very nice. Let me block the view once more, probably. Gosh darn it. There we are. That will last till the end of time. And then we'll trim that off. There we go. Very nice. I just like to double check. That's okay. Then, this is the, also goes to the negative lead for the woofer. So I need a line going that way. And it connects with L3 or C3 here. Is that C3? No, L3. Okay. And then this is the resistor. So the way I've been doing this is, this is the old circuit board, right? And less expensive and much smaller parts. So this is what I have on this one. As you can see, I didn't go crazy on the cost, but these are all good. So just Jansen, and then here is our resistor that I've been waiting for. That's finished. That's finished. Okay, we just have to get this lead right here. And so if I ever get confused, I can just hold this up like this and look through it. I don't know if you can see that, but the light, real easy. There, I've been using felt pen to track the course. And this, of course, is just thin project board. I wish I'd used thicker, but I didn't have any, and I didn't feel like waiting. But there we go. Crossover is finished. Took me a lot longer than I thought it would. There were things I had forgotten I hadn't completed yet. So I took my time, figured no rush. So got all the wires attached now with clips on the end. All I gotta do is put it together. Well, I have to cut this down and drill some holes. And I'll show you how I'm gonna mount it. The same way I mounted the other one. The mounts are already in there. So there we go. Just in case you're curious if it'll focus, that's all I did. And put her together point to point, right? Next time, oh, okay. So after I get it all together, I'll move it to the music room and put them both in the array and do some listening. So I'll let you know what the final verdict is. So another day, another speaker. I just got finished. This is the material that comes inside these speakers from the factory. And this is leftover. I just got through putting that on the driver's side because the no-res on this side is really, it's expensive and wasteful, unnecessary. So it's all in here. We are padded on 4 sides. So this crap can go in the garbage. And the next step will be, what's the next step going to be? Well, get rid of this. And just make get something. That's exactly what I wanted to happen anyway. Some of that junk out of here. I'll vacuum it a little later. But that should leave me ready to start putting the drivers in. Ow. Depth of field, don't have any. Yeah, the reason I'm blind in one eye is that I had a really spectacular bicycle crash years back in San Francisco. Entirely my fault. I rode right in front of an N-Judah train. And I did so because I was listening to a particularly wonderful Rory Gallagher cut from Irish Tour 74. Up loud on my noise canceling headphones. So I didn't hear the train. I looked back, but somehow my shoulder blocked the view of it. So I rode right in front of it. And when I left the hospital, they said, well, you're going to be permanently blind in your right eye. It severed the optic nerve. You've had some moderate spinal damage. 4 vertebrae were broken. Your hand, and I think that was something else. I don't remember. But as a result of the spinal damage, my right side is entirely impaired. I have no dexterity with this hand. And for instance, if you were holding a gun to my head and said, if you don't run away, I'm going to shoot you, you'd shoot me because I cannot run. My leg won't respond. And this whole side of my body has atrophied, and I've never been able to work out again because of it. So all this is from train spotting, I guess. So here's the second cabinet, getting ready to assemble it. You see the no-res there, and not much else that I've done except the doweling and the supports, so reinforcement, so you can see those in there. So I'll clean this out, but first I have to install the mounting screws I'm going to use for the crossover. I'm going to mount one side of it to that cross brace there so that it's nice and solid, and then the other side I'll show you how I'm going to do it with threaded rod. So we have the necessary parts. I already showed you the crossover, and it's all wired and finished. And then I'm going to use threaded rod to go up through the cabinet. Just to anchor the, let's see, which direction is this? To anchor the back, which will be this side. And then this side will screw right into that brace I showed you. And after I put the threaded rod on through the other side, use these safety nuts on the outside so they won't spin once they're on. And then on the inside, just go ahead and use maybe these electrical type lock nuts. And on the front, in order to not bind all these wires up, I'll put like a 1/4 inch nylon standoff on each screw. And that's not the right size. So we have everything, and time to get drilling the holes. Anyway, got my standoffs here, my screws, put all this stuff away. All these standoffs can go back in the drawer. And these screws can go back in the drawer. I'll leave the nuts out for now. So the next thing is to I want to drill a pilot hole for that for the screw that I'm going to use to attach the circuit, the crossover board. Okay. And what do I do now? What's the next step? Oh, right. What I'm doing right now is placing things so that I know where to drill my holes on the back of the. That's gonna break. I better get a. Yeah. All right. Let's take this with me. So I gotta drill the holes for the back of the in the back of the cabinet for the threaded rod, and but I have to know where to drill the holes first. Damn it. So in that case, let's do it this way. I don't like to push hard on these because they're actually quite brittle. That was cracked. So I take my time. I think it actually is burning rather than cutting. What the hell? Oh, I just sharpened that. So it's just this material. It's a little more difficult to work with. If any of you watch these videos and have the thought that, man, he's kind of clumsy and inaccurate, that would be accurate to say that I'm inaccurate. And the reason is I am cold stone blind in my right eye, so I have no depth perception. And try soldering a bunch of circuit boards when you can't tell how close the iron is to the board. You just have to go slowly. I'd like to have them look symmetrical on the back, but no one's ever going to see them anyway. I live in a rural area. All my friends are down in San Francisco, which is 120 miles south. So it's not like you can just buzz up here. Plus there's no freeway. 4, 1.5, okay. 4 by 1.5. So I don't have to worry about getting the place clean for visitors and so forth. Maybe I'll just use that one. I like, after working on engines, racing engines with close tolerances, even with wood, I still want it precise. Okay, here we are. Now we gotta put those port tubes in too. So I can do that while this thing is upside down. Much better. So let's make holes in the cap. And we'll go right there. And right there. Just run right to the tip of the plastic and the safety net. That looks great. And you go in there. Perfect. Absolutely tight. Plus it's going through that no-res. But that stuff, that no-res is actually so dense that you can drill through it. Not like foam where it tears. And, well, this is enough for this there. Okay. One down. That one down. That's all I need. So I'm going to put these on backside, then turn it over and run a nut on the backside here to hold these and tighten it down, and with this safety nut on the other side it'll stay nice and secure and adjusted. There we go. There's absolutely no reason to put a washer in there. So, I don't remember if I did with the other one. What else do I need to do? All I gotta do is put those ports in there, and that takes 2 minutes. So let's go back. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay. I think I'll turn that air compressor off. I do not need 300 pounds. Especially on a nice peaceful day. So, this is my roll-around table that I use for working outside in the summer and spring. Today is the middle of November? I don't really know. And it's 75 degrees. So Welcome to the world we now inhabit. Now, one thing I need to do is solder the okay, right here. These are the leads that go to the speaker. Yeah, okay. I was editing the first videos that I did, and I had never known that basically I stick my tongue out the entire time I'm working, which is goofy as hell. And then, so now I'm self-conscious about it. Okay. That was one of my depth of field problems. So I'll just show you. So obviously that's the interior of the cabinet, and you can see there's one of the threaded rod. So I need to run a nut on that, and then I'll set this on, and I can drill the 3 other holes and attach that, and the leads come out this way, and that'll just about do it for the crossover for now. And then I got to start soldering and decide if I'm going to check the function of that crossover first. I did the other one. So forgot about putting the, I don't know what you even call these, the port barrels here. So I got to put those in first, and then I don't know if it'll change the, yeah, it's okay. Then put see that brace that's so crooked is the problem, because I'm going to attach the crossover to that board, so everything's kind of splayed, not like things perfectly lined up. But time to put some glue on them ports. So I'll get my caulking apparatus there, and that's going to come in handy all day. And oh yeah, so that's the other project waiting. Those are the chassis. It's actually chassis is plural. Those are the chassis for my Dynaco, well, they're not Dynaco anymore, except for the transformers, but my Mark III monoblock amps. So, yeah, that'll be a little later. Well, I'm doing everything simultaneously. Okay, so installation is ready. And then after I put this in, I'll drag this thing over to the workbench so I can solder up the speaker lug cup before I put everything together, so I'm able to have enough wire. So those go down there. Is that this one? Yeah. Oh man, that sun is moving fast. I put those chassis parts out there to just bake in the sun. It's black lacquer with clear enamel, and I just want to make sure that they're absolutely dry before I rub them out. But they're almost ready now, and this thing is almost finished. So, whoops, that's not the right one, is it? That's weird. Oh, well, I got it backwards, right? Yeah, dummy. Okay, here we go. wires out where they're supposed to be. Those go there. That goes. Oh, I forgot to put the nuts on. Okay. We gotta. First, I put on the threaded rod. Put one of these nuts on upside down. God, it's getting hot out here. I don't know what the ambient temperature is, but man, it's burning up. But in fact, I want that chassis, those chassis parts to stay in the sun if possible. Yeah, I have to move them out onto the driveway. But yeah, that's gonna have to. All right. In fact, let me do that now. Okay. The reason I'm letting those chassis parts sit for so long is that, like I said, I shot black lacquer, which is fine, but then the clear coat is enamel, and the difference is that lacquer dries from the outside or the inside out. The enamel dries from the outside in, so it can keep the lacquer from fully curing. And I think I painted them a month ago, and I've already sanded most of them with 600 just to make sure everything's okay with them. So the next step will be to sand them with probably go 1500 and then 2000 before I rub everything out. Before I rub it out. Okay, so got a washer underneath there because this board is so thin I don't want it to crack from vibration. And now the two spacers, which I use to get that board up for the wires coming out to the 3 drivers. So well, now that makes no sense, does it? Where are the holes? Huh. Why isn't that lining up? I do not know. Yeah. It's easy to get distracted making these videos. And I don't really enjoy doing it, but God, I enjoy watching other people's videos that come from other DIY projects, and so I'm just doing this to try to add my contribution. But and there's so much work to edit and everything, so I don't do a lot of them. But now I can sleep soundly, understanding that I've made a contribution. This is pretty boring. I'm going to go ahead and run the screws in. That'll tie that up. Then I'm going to take everything over to the bench so I can do some soldering. And then I'll show you how I'm going to put there's a mid-range cup that goes in that I painted with, coated with rubber. It's basically an undercarriage coat for cars, rubber. It deadens sound because those cups are PVC and they'll ring. So, okay, I'll give you guys a break on the rest of this. Got the crossover mounted. So now I just need to. What the hell? Oh no, okay, I understand. Okay, so these are my leads. Oops. There we go. Get a good mechanical connection there. There we go. Give it a little crimp. That isn't coming off. But just to make certain, let's put some solder on it. That looks very good. That's not going anywhere. Oh yeah, okay. And then the positive, where am I, goes to this fuse holder. Okay, that was easy. Mechanical connection. There we go. Nice and secure. Oh, you know what? Nah, never mind. There we are. Ah, beautiful. Okay, so that can go in, right? Yes, that can go in. And this can come on. Take that off later. So that's going to go right there. Alright, okay. Gotta get some hardware. So the surface on this cup is nice and flat. There wasn't any sort of gasket on it when I took it off. Just metal to wood. So of course we're going to change that. And this is water based because you want to be able to clean it up if it squirts out. And I make a very small hole so that I can put on just a, you don't need a whole lot, right? But run it in there and then go get a rag. Right? Okay. That should be just fine. And we'll turn this over to the right direction. And there we go. That should make a very nice seal. I have an impact driver that I could use, but I like using this drill because it has a clutch. I'm sure that other drivers do too, but that way I never put it above number 3 There's nothing in here that needs to be tighter than that. And it keeps you from stripping anything out. Or at least it helps prevent it. Oops. This cup isn't centered. Okay, so that is done. There is a little bit of caulk coming out, so I'll get a rag to clean that up. Okay, so that's cleaned off. And, wow. Oh no, that's from today, right, okay. There's a little bit of that caulk in here. I'll just bring it out from when I put the sleeves on. And there we go. A little on this one too. I'm spreading some of it at the seam or the junction. It'll help hold everything together real nicely and create yet another airtight seal. Okay. Right up to the edge there. Alright. Time to turn it over and start assembling.
The agreement and hopes to continue
So, there we go. And yellow is mid-range. Red is the big boy. And blue is the tweeter. Okay. And here are the negative leads. You stay right there. I'll get these other guys going. So, why doesn't this one have the clip on it? Huh. Did I just forget? Alright, well, I gotta do a little soldering already. Get this off Amazon real cheap. I don't know how long I've had it, but it just goes and goes. It's nice when you don't have to worry about overheating a component. You just get that stuff to shrink down real nicely. So we got you two guys over here and you two guys here and you two right there. And here we have the cup. With the, you probably can't see it, but I put that stuff they use on the undercarriage of a car. However, I didn't worry about masking it off. This stuff's just rubber, you peel it right off. So here we go, let's get it off there. Doing this just to make certain that there isn't any residual, less visible layer of adhesive still on there. Okay, right? Should have just put some acetone on there, right? All right, let's double check everything. So as I've said before, these audition videos are kind of silly because no matter how great the sound is coming out of the speakers and the audio system, they're going through a microphone in this stupid camera, and then they're being played over crappy speakers on a phone or something. So I'm just gonna turn these speakers on for a minute, stay with cold blood since they didn't block the last example I used, and just talk about what's different in these two speakers now that I've been listening to them for a while, which I have. So to show you that they are working, I'll put some music on.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna move away from here. Lord, ain't gonna reach such a good morning.
So what I'm hearing mostly is the first thing that's obvious is the bass is so much nicer. It was far too thumpy for my tastes prior to the rebuild, so adding higher quality components to the crossover really helped. And there's a greater range of tonality in the mids and highs, so that I'd say that the no-res, along with the crossover upgrade, first of all, helped the cabinet, and then secondly, helped the sound that's being produced. So, definite success. I think if I were going to change anything else, it would probably be to put some air coil inductors. The inductors that come in these are pretty cheap, so that would be the next thing. But for right now, for my tastes in particularly old rock and roll, these are more than adequate. So anyone wanting to make this upgrade, I will tell you it is definitely worth your while. And just to take us out with a little bit of funky going, more cold blood.